Fanatics and 17 Los Angeles sports teams, there's our 17 teams have partnered to sell LA Strong T-shirts, the proceeds of which will support the Red Cross and the LA Fire Department Foundation. Joining us now with more on this effort, Michael Rubin, CEO of Fanatics, and commend you once again for what you're doing here, Michael. It's not over, and I'm wondering anything we can do now in anticipation of the winds kicking up again this week?
No, look, we're just getting started. I mean, I think we feel like anyone of our size and kind of who has a platform like we do, you have a real responsibility to use your platform to make a difference. And I think we demonstrated that during COVID when we did the big All-In Challenge. I think it was one of the biggest digital fundraisers ever. We had raised $60 million. We made masks for the first time before anyone was thinking about it, cutting up baseball fabrics and uniforms, turning them into masks. And I think the great thing is to watch everyone coming together. We actually, last week, started saying, okay, what can we do? And then I got a phone call from Lon Rosen from the LA Dodgers, said, hey, most of the LA teams just got together and said, we've got to do things. What can we do? Hey, could you get Fanatics to make a collection of apparel? Could they donate all of the profits? Could you get the leagues and teams to donate all the profits? That was like the easiest yes. I got the phone call at 4 o'clock on Thursday. And by that night, the whole thing was organized, and our entire organization rallied together, and we launched it the next day. But we don't say, okay, we're done. Now, by the way, it's going to be a big program. There's already, I think, 30,000 individuals have bought, around the world, have bought LA Strong merchandise, which shows people, not just in Los Angeles, but people in New York, people in
and
Europe.
You've already spun this stuff up. I mean, we got it right here already.
It got delivered to me when I got here this morning. Yeah,
why'd you pick the Trojans?
Well, my daughter goes to USC, so we got to support you. Yeah, we got to support USC.
You got Bruins?
Yeah, we've got everyone. I mean, if you're an LA sports team, whether you came up front or you saw this launch and you got into it, it's really about everyone coming together. But the amazing thing is we're not like, okay, we're done. That's us just getting started. Later this week, and our teams didn't want me to say this, but, you know, I'll announce it here. We're working to give away about $3 million of merchandise later this week, early next week in Los Angeles to people that have lost their houses. We're actually looking for things that would be very emotional to them. You know, LA's had a lot of championships in the last 5 years. Dodgers won the World Series twice. The Rams have won the won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Lakers, LAFC, and the Galaxy have both won the Cup. So we're looking for all that championship merchandise, because if your house burnt down, you know, that may be something that was very emotional. Hey, I had the championship shirt from when we won. So we're going to get $3 million of merchandise together and just give it away later this week. One of the things has been heartbreaking but really interesting is the amount of individuals who have reached out to our company, who've reached out to me and said, you know, my house burnt down, but the only thing that really matters is this piece of memorabilia that I lost. Somebody called me, actually an investor of mine called me on Tuesday, it's the first person, and said, you know, my sister's house burnt down. It was a very expensive house. We don't care about the house. She had a couple things from Kobe, and those were her most important prized possessions. Can you get me something to help replace that? We right away found those things. So, you know, we've seen so many individual stories where I think based on the relationships we have with players, with the teams, we can create truly a dreamy experience for individuals one by one that can't change the horrible situation of them losing their house, but maybe can bring some happiness to them. And I think it really is our responsibility to do everything we can. And so it's great that we launched LA Strong with 17 teams. It's great that over 30,000 people have participated around the world. It's great that we're going to give away $3 million of product later this week. But we're just getting started. We're going to do everything we can. And the real heroes here, it's not us. The heroes here are the firefighters, all these people coming together. I mean, I look what they're going through. It's insane. And we have so many employees that are affected by this as well.
I mean, the rebuild is going to take so long and be so demanding of time and resources. I guess you're just getting started, but those are funds that can really go towards the rebuilding, too.
Yeah, and I think our desire here would be to be one of the people who created the most funds for this and did the most in the city. This is one that, look, there are disasters that happen often within a year, but the ones that are really big and hit hard, and this is very personal. So we have 1,000 employees in Los Angeles, in LA. Yeah, we have multiple employees that have lost their homes. And I have so many friends that are, you know, have lost their homes on top of our employees that have lost their homes. So it just feels like your family has been so affected here.
Let me ask you, you have a home out there as well.
I do.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Is your sense, I mean, what do you, I mean, beyond the human toll, which is obviously the thing we're all focused on, what do you think the economic impact on LA is going to be? Obviously, the Olympics are coming up, by the way, in 28. There's debates about whether the city's going to be able to actually rebuild by then. There's World Cup, there's Super Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of sports, not just in the city already, but coming to the city. And here we have this tragedy in front of us.
Yeah, look, I think I don't know the exact numbers, but I think this tragedy is of epic proportion. I saw an estimate 3 or 4 days ago that said there had already been $50 billion in damage, and that was like 3 or 4 days ago. I think the market's going to have to go through a lot of correction. I mean, look, LA is one of the most amazing cities in the world. I love this city. You know, I spend a lot of time there because it's one of the hubs of the sports and entertainment worlds. But if you think about today, it's very hard to get insurance, right? I don't have my house. I have an expensive house. I have no wildfire insurance because you can't get wildfire insurance in Los Angeles. Now, I don't worry about to me, you know, people ask me all the time, is your house okay? I'm like, I'm not worried about my house. I'm worried about all the other people that have lost their houses. You see people that owned a house for 30, 40 years, and now, you know, they can't afford to rebuild it, and they didn't have wildfire insurance.
How do you fix that problem? I mean,
Well, I think government needs to act more like a business in this situation. And look, this is complicated. Like, you know, you guys know I don't get involved in politics, but I think here you need to go and say, okay, we have a real problem. You're going to have, you know, many tens of billions, maybe even could it reach $100 billion in damage or plus. You know, you've got all these people that have lost their houses. How do we help them to rebuild the houses on a cost-effective basis? What happens if they didn't have insurance? How do we not have people take advantage of them? So I think there's going to be a lot of entrepreneurial business leadership that's needed. I think you need anyone that can make a big difference. That's your responsibility. You run a big company. You can help in a big way. You know, you're an insurance company. I know this is a really difficult situation for you because LA is a bad market to insure, but how can you help make a difference? That's why for us, we keep saying, what are all the things we can do? And I can tell you from the show, I'll see reach outs and we'll get a good idea of someone, hey, we didn't think about that. We should do that. So I think I would say the biggest thing that a lot of people that watch this show can do, you know, these are some of the most powerful people in the world. You have a big platform. Use that platform to make a difference. That's why we want to do so many different things. So when I see you guys in a month or two, because I know you guys want to talk about Fanatics later, we'll talk about here are all the things we did in LA to make that difference.